Hey everyone, I'm back again with some flowers that are in season, and I'm just going to talk like I normally do about what their names are and some little facts about them. I've got some Berzelia, some lovely fluffy Phyllica, some pansies, got some Blushing Bride, and I've got some beautiful magnolia flower. So this gorgeous Berzelia is a South African flower, sold in this green stage, and it can flower. But you are better off getting it in this green stage if you want to see the maturation stages. These guys are available in the cooler seasons, so from like midwinter to the end of spring, and they have an excellent vase life of between 2 to 3 weeks. This guy can be confused with another flower, Brunia. So they look similar, but Brunia have a flatter head. I love to use Berzelia in all kinds of arrangements. They can be fresh or dried arrangements. As they mature, the colors will change, but you're typically looking at the color that you will see, which is green. You'll get maybe some ones with some pinky bits on it, and this one has some red sort of underneath the heads, but these are sort of the colors that you're looking at, and obviously when you dry them they'll get brown. But yeah, very beautiful, long lasting. I guess it's a type of foliage and flower, and you can use them this is a bunch that I've got right now, but you can use them as an individual stem or stems, or you can also wire them individually, and they work either way. My next flower is not so much a cut flower, although this is a pretty long stem that if you were creating a vase arrangement for a wedding or something like that, or even using the little potted plants in table arrangements or something, you can do that sort of stuff. But I wanted to use pansies because as you can see, I've bought I haven't grown them from seed. I think I have just recently bought some seeds, I can't remember, but I couldn't say no to these gorgeous colors. And I've got a little section, and I dry these and press these a lot, so I wanted to add more color. Pansies are violas, but not all violas are pansies. So pansies come from violas, and violas have limited colors, whereas pansies have more colors, typically bigger heads. And if you've got one petal pointing downwards and the others are pointing up, then it's a pansy. I think this is just a good rule of thumb. There's probably something out there that's the opposite, but then if you've got 2 lower petals and then the rest are up, or 3, I think it's 3 petals pointing down and the rest are up, or 2 are up, then that's a viola. It doesn't really matter. They're just beautiful, so you'll get so much enjoyment. I'm adding to my little collection, and yeah, this color is just so stunning. I'm just so excited to see it growing. And the great thing about these is the more you pick, the more they grow. They have quite a long growing period, so and they particularly love the cooler season. And so currently they're everywhere in abundance in all its colors. Plant them in winter for spring, so whilst they like the cooler, can tolerate the cooler months, I think they're quite a hardy flower, and depending on what you've got, they can probably survive in other seasons. I haven't actually seen long stemmed cut flower pansies, but I still wanted to include these. If you follow Floret Flower, she's in America. She's been able to successfully grow pansies and violas that have that can be used as cut flowers, and they have long gorgeous stems, and they're just so beautiful. So if you want to check that out, definitely have a look. And if you're able to, get some seeds and grow them, because yeah, they're so unique and so beautiful. They would just make any arrangement look amazing. She's been able to see results of like 7 to 10 days of a vase life, so that's pretty amazing. I didn't intentionally do this, but I've got a lot of South African flowers in this week's what's in season, but this is Blushing Bride. This is a potted plant. I need to be growing more of my own stuff. Everything's getting so expensive, and I do want to control where my flowers, have more control in where my flowers and such are grown. So I'm taking the plunge and growing more things. You can get cream, white, greeny yellow, pinks, all these sort of variations. They're just a beautiful native South African flower. I like to dry these. They're good to be dried as well. Whilst you can dry them, they also just have an excellent vase life, so from up to 2 weeks. Available in the cooler seasons, so from beginning of winter to maybe mid-spring. Very well used in wildflower, native bunches. They're just stunning. This is closed, but I don't have any on here that are open, but inside it reveals kind of like this, a bit similar to a protea because they're related. Just this fuzzy inside when it opens. Just a funny little fact about Blushing Bride and why they're called Blushing Bride is because apparently the men used to wear Blushing Bride on their lapels, and so if people saw someone wearing that, it kind of signified that what his intentions are, and therefore the bride would blush. A cute little fact, and I mean, it's gorgeous because everyone loves to use them in weddings, so it's a nice little name, I think. So this fluffy Phyllica that I have is actually drying out, and so this is why he's a bit more big and fluffy, otherwise he'd be more compact. Another one of my favorite things to dry. The color is just beautiful. It's a soft green color, and looks great in the dried arrangements that I do. Another South African beauty. So it's sold for its foliage, so foliage in winter, flowers in spring. Also has an excellent vase life of between 10 days to 2 weeks, and this is the type of pretty much the color that you can expect to see. Don't get any if there are any brown tips on it though. You want it all nice and fresh. Lucky last is this stunning magnolia. This one, I've got a big huge magnolia tree in the backyard, and I see it flourishing in other people's yards at the moment. It's so amazing. There are so many species of magnolia. You've got different names. I think this one, and I'm not sure, is called Heaven Scent, and not scent as in S-E-N-T, but scent with the C, the scent. And this has, can't quite put my finger on what the scent is. I want to say honey, and actually it's kind of almost like lemon myrtle smell. If you've ever smelled lemon myrtle, that's the scent that it's got. And this one's kind of starry or almost lily-like as well. And another one you might be familiar with is the kind of bowl-shaped white magnolia with the green leaves. So these are green leaves, but they're do I have any? They've got the thicker green leaves and the darker brown on the underside. So you've got like lots of color variations and shape variations. You've pinks and whites, and just you can use the foliage if you use the other type of magnolia. So you've got your little gems and your teddy bears. These are excellent in gift bouquets and even wedding work and your corporate orders. I mean, look at this. If you're talking about impact, this is just one stem that I pulled off my tree, and it's got beautiful shape and negative space and just interest with the flowers. It's just a beautiful flower. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure they've got a good vase life up to a week. But I would just test it, because you know, every type would be different, I guess. And just be careful with them. They need cold, clean water, just your typical conditioning. And yeah, it's just a beautiful wintry flower that's so pretty. It makes me so happy seeing them in the front of people's yards. So yep, this is it. Those are my 5 flowers slash foliage. I've got the Boswellia, the Phyllica, the Pansy, Magnolia, and the Blushing Bride. And just, you know, we do in winter less weddings, but we do have some exceptional flowers around this time. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and maybe if there's something that you want to share with me about them, I'd be interested. But definitely have a look at Floret Flower. She's a flower farmer, grower in the US, and she has beautiful pansies. All her flowers actually are great.